Alright everybody, welcome back to another video here on GrappleNation. Of course, my name is Dominic, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than the normal kind of stuff I do here on the channel. I figured, you know what, I feel as though I don't particularly get the opportunity to express my thanks or to even interact with you or get you guys really involved in any of the content that I normally do. So today, I decided to sort of start changing that by looking at your comments, reacting to your comments about a certain topic. Today's topic on this video is all about your favorite professional wrestlers, and I'll start right now. I have made it no secret that my favorite wrestler of all time is probably Johnny Gargano. Now, I probably watch more clips of CM Punk because I'm definitely more of a promo and story guy than I am an in-ring professional wrestling guy. Okay, I love me a good story. If I don't really know the story of a match going into it, I'm not gonna be as invested. You know, I love Dominik Dijakovic versus Keith Lee. However, if I don't really know the match going into it, it takes a lot for me to get invested in it. And Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic on the Indies is one of the very few matches that I'll actually get into just because I don't know the story, just because Keith Lee is freaking awesome. However, Johnny Gargano, on the other hand, has the ability to not only have an interesting in-ring presence with his high octane and striking style, he not only has the ability to tell a story in the ring, because, well, if you've seen Gargano versus Ciampa 1, you know exactly what I'm talking about with that, okay? Absolutely beautiful matchup that was. But also, just Johnny Gargano, in my opinion, is just one of the best. I don't know why. I find something interesting about him. I mean, sure, I'm not particularly into the idea of him being a heel because I see him more as the Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan kind of babyface where you can just not help but love the guy. But, I don't know, Johnny Gargano, okay, I haven't really seen too much of his heel stuff in NXT, but I do know this. He's absolutely phenomenal as a babyface, and I would not have changed that. However, that's my personal favorite wrestler. What about you guys? Who do you guys have as your favorite professional wrestler? Let's get into the first comment here. This is from Dejected Yeti 066. He says, my favorite wrestler of all time is Shawn Michaels. Obviously, one of the best, if not the best, wrestler on the planet. Okay, that's almost undisputed. He has had outstanding performances. He has a brilliant personality. He's good as a heel or a face. He's won many titles in his run with DX in the 90s or late 2000s. He was brilliant in every rivalry is brilliant, especially the Triple H one between 2002 and 2004. I'll say so. Triple H versus Shawn Michaels, great rivalry in essence. Stone Cold in the lead up to WrestleMania 14. Yeah, okay, that's good too. His legendary rivalry with Bret Hart and many other icons, obviously. And of course, The Undertaker. I can't forget about The Undertaker. He said, happy birthday to you once. That's why Shawn Michaels is your favorite pro wrestler. Well, that's a lot of good reasons. He is kind of, claimed to be one of the best wrestlers on the planet, and it's hard to dispute that. So we'll carry on. Dejected Yeti, good answer. This next one is from Omkar. I believe that's how you say it. Omkar? Something like that. My favorite wrestler is Roman Reigns because he is the guy in this damn company. Yeah, I can see that. Roman Reigns. I never got the hate for Roman Reigns. Like, in essence, I understood sort of why people didn't really like him. He was being pushed down our throats, blah, 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 blah. But, I don't know. He seems like a good guy, especially since, he's kind of revealed more of himself as, Joe instead of Roman Reigns, with the whole cancer thing. And, of course, the more recent stuff with Reigns and Paul Heyman over on SmackDown in front of no fans. Because, of course, no matter how many times the fans ask for a heel turn with Roman Reigns, they keep denying it until there's no one there to react to it. Logic. Moving on to the next one. This is from Gatecrasher Forever. Sting. Okay, not too many people talk about the icon himself, but you know what? I love it. I'm 41 and he's still my hero. He evolved as I grew up, from blonde Sting to Crow to Joker to the more colorful version we got in WWE. He always stood for what was right. His matches, especially early 90s, were always great, and the build to him versus NWO Hogan took over a year and involved him saying absolutely nothing. There will never be another match built up like that again. Sad that the match itself wasn't that great. On a side note, I feel like Shawn Michaels and Okada are the best for in-ring work, which I rate differently from favorite overall wrestlers. See, that is a good, mentality to have. You can have your favorites, but then there are the best. And I think that's a good distinction, okay? Shawn Michaels and Okada, easily some of the best from an in-ring standpoint. I never really got Okada. I mean, I get why people like him. I've never, claimed him to be one of the best or one of my favorites at least. But you know what? I'll respect Okada, I'll respect Shawn Michaels, and I respect Sting. He also seems like one of those guys who's very approachable as well. He seems like a nice chap, and I understand why he could be your favorite. Next up, we've got Ballard 716. My favorite wrestler of all time is Jon Moxley because I love his character in AEW, and when he was Dean Ambrose in WWE, I also love his finisher. Yes, double arm DDT. It's a good finisher, especially when he lifts him up into the brainbuster position. That's also beautiful. I like Moxley. He can be pretty hit or miss for me. I like him a lot. I want to like him a lot, especially when he was Dean Ambrose. I was thinking the entire time, when he grabbed the WWE title, when he actually got it, I was so excited for the WWE title, and then he got into a feud with James Ellsworth, and then I was like, oh yeah, WWE doesn't know what to do with people sometimes. Mr. Curtis W. Mine's Y2J, the Ayatollah of rock and roller, the GOAT, the champion himself, Chris Jericho, because he's just amazing in every way, shape, and form. Tell him to do something, and he excels in it. Exactly, okay? He is always somebody who's very, malleable in professional wrestling. Okay, he can definitely fit into anything. He can be a comedy guy, like we've seen with Orange Cassidy. He can be a top-tier guy, especially when he walked into WWE and beat, some two nobodies to win the WWE and WCW title on the same night. I can't remember who they are. We've got Jericho. He can be, a very serious guy who's not a champion, as we saw with the Jericho versus Michaels, before that became a championship picture, but I never thought that really needed the title, because it was just, they freaking hate each other. He can be incredibly lovable, he can be incredibly hateable, he can be just anything you want him to be. He is that. The only thing he can't particularly be is a tremendous rock star. Send tweet. However, Chris Jericho, okay, you can't help but love the guy. He seems like a cool guy as well, and we'll continue on. Good answer, Mr. Curtis. Jay Walker. Ricochet. His career in NXT was amazing, but they ruined him on Raw. He's still my idol, though. Ricochet is awesome. Another one of those guys that, I mentioned earlier the idea of me saying that I can't really get into a match unless I really know the story going in, or I know that it's going to have a good story to it. Ricochet is one of those very few guys that I can just watch and not know anything about, because he's just that amazing. Okay, I know that it's a cliche by Mauro Ranallo, but he would scream at the top of his lungs that Ricochet is a human video game, and honestly, it's true. Okay, the stuff that he can do is ridiculous. Jay Walker, another great answer. My favorite probably is Samoa Joe. You don't necessarily hear a lot of people talk about Samoa Joe as their favorite. Everybody's like, oh, he's really good, but not favorite. So this is an interesting take. He is amazing on the mic and in the ring, but he is very underrated. That's just what I was saying. Okay, he's very underrated indeed. Okay, he's one of those very few big guys like a Keith Lee that can move around with the grace of a gazelle. It's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely amazing. Samoa Joe, he's a top-notch dude. And he's been absolutely ruined by WWE. You could say that about a lot of these people. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to look back in time and say Samoa Joe was maybe one of the best of his generation. I think a lot of people, in 10 years from now, Samoa Joe, he will be getting that Hall of Fame ring. And I can't wait for that, because he's a guy that I feel absolutely deserves it. Moving on, Bray Wyatt, because I love his character. This is from GamerGuy334. Bray Wyatt, I absolutely agree. I think he's another one of those guys that in 10, 15 years' time, he's going to get the Hall of Fame ring, and we're going to look back and think, wow, he was very inventive and innovative. I think a lot of the things that he is doing now, we're going to see a lot more of in the future. Just the more cinematic style of wrestling, because he really did kind of mainstream the idea of wrestling being a cinematic experience. Sure, you could argue Lucha Underground. I almost said Lucha Dragons there. Lucha Underground started really, creating that movement in wrestling. I think Bray Wyatt is definitely just this massive surge of exposure to a lot of people for the kind of cinematic stylings of wrestling, obviously with the Firefly Funhouse match and stuff like that. So yeah, Bray Wyatt, absolutely lovely. I cannot disagree with Gamer Guy. JJ Hunt, Seth Rollins fan is in his name. However, apparently mine is Edge because he had a great match with John Cena and Edge 2009 match with Jeff Hardy. Okay, there's also, probably a plethora of other reasons why Edge is amazing. Okay, one of the best talkers. You don't see a lot of like great talkers as like just regular guys, I guess. Like if you think about like the history of like, great talkers, it's always been larger than life personalities. Okay, Macho Man Randy Savage, the real American Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake Roberts. Okay, they all had like their own little gimmicks to them. Edge, I never really got the idea of him having a gimmick. He's just always been like an opportunistic guy. Typically, it's the kind of massive characters that are good at promos. Edge, he was always just kind of a normal guy. And so, he was always, interesting in that sense. He was one of the very few guys, or he is one of the very few, like, just normal guys that I still find interesting whenever he puts his mouth to microphone. So Edge, it's a beautiful pick. Also, he had a live sex celebration, so who doesn't love that? Following that, I always mispronounce this guy's name. I'm going to say Joseph. Joseph Maritza. Joseph. Finn Balor. Finn Balor, very quick, very easy. I cannot disagree. Okay, the Prince himself, Finn Balor. Okay, so here's the thing with Finn Balor. I like his babyface in-ring work. But I love his heel character. You know what I mean? And sure, obviously, Finn Balor, he does a lot of rest holds. Okay, he does sort of feel like Randy Orton in that sense in NXT right now. But hey, it's trying to get him heat and stuff. I just find that it's sometimes very boring. I love Johnny and Finn, but their match kinda didn't live up to my own personal hype. I was expecting that to be like an instant classic, but I don't know, maybe it's just me and my stupidity and not, appreciating Finn Balor as a heel in the ring. However, nonetheless, Balor, he's still one of the best. I absolutely love the guy. This is from Carleen. My favorite wrestler of all time is Finn Balor. Same, look at what I said earlier. Finn Balor, obviously one of the best. This is from Dane. Rob Van Dam. Abso-freaking-lutely. RVD. I love him. If only he, didn't smoke weed in his car with Sabu, he could have probably gone down as one of the best and most popular guys ever, in my opinion. I think RVD could have been one of the very few key players to bring wrestling back to like a boom period, I guess, in the late 2000s. Okay, because if you think about like the roster, RVD really was the standout guy. He should have been the top star in WWE, and I get that there's a lot of factors to that, but him having to be stripped of the ECW and WWE title due to his own, smoking weed and stuff mistake, which obviously is the most Rob Van Dam thing of all time. But RVD, I wish he didn't get busted on that night. I wish he didn't. And the last one is from Zach Rushing. Seth Rollins is my favorite. I like Seth Rollins. I like everything about Seth Rollins except for the fact that it's Seth Rollins. I should be more clear on that. I like Seth. He does have his foot in his mouth sometimes, though. And I get, obviously, you may be thinking that I'm referring to the Twitter stuff. Which I sort of am. Seth, I don't know. He's also... I've never found him that captivating of, as a person. Obviously, his, in just promos and stuff, okay? His laugh, his infamous laugh, his cringy burn it down stuff. I don't know. I never liked it. I understand, why people would love Seth Rollins, okay? I feel like he should be great. And I don't know, maybe you could say, oh, WWE ruined this guy. But I don't know. I think they've really tried to strap the rocket to this guy, and it's really not worked for me, okay? Basically, it's his best run so far maybe the Messiah gimmick, if I'm going to be honest. Okay, obviously the Shield, it's sort of its own thing. I think the Messiah is really showing just how much of a great asset he is to the wrestling business. And yeah, but ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the end of this video here. Keep a lookout for the community tab to see, depending on how this video goes, because it may be asking for more of your opinions, because I like this. I like the idea of looking at your comments, reacting to your comments, etc., etc. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you all so much for watching. Okay, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, but if you have, why not hit the bell to be notified of everything we do here on GrappleNation. Of course, my name is Dominic, and have a good day. Bye-bye.